I just got laid off from my job at CBS, and every producer on my team who got laid off is a person of color. Every person who gets to stay and will be relocated within the company is a white person. Now, in my meeting with the executive who told me I was getting laid off, I specifically asked him if it was a consideration for us to be relocated somewhere else within the company. And he said that we advocated to keep the show. We advocated to try to get you relocated somewhere, and we couldn't. Because I asked him, why are you the person who is making this decision or delivering the news that we're being laid off?
Well, that's your first mistake. You should not be asking the person who's in charge of laying you off, why are you the person laying me off? As if their authority doesn't mean anything and they're not qualified. It's unfortunate that we all have to tiptoe around and nobody can be honest. But let's be real. Have you ever worked with somebody who was black and sassy and entitled? They're very difficult to work with. I tell people in the workplace, because I've worked in corporate America before I went out on my own, I did work in corporate America. It's out of 100% of the pie, 80% of it is workplace culture. 20% of it is the job. 80% of it is how agreeable you are, how polite you are. Are you a joy to work around? Are you always happy? Do you have a negative demeanor about yourself? A lot of these, I've worked with a lot of black people. I know a lot of black people. I've never once met someone who got fired from a job that was black that said, yeah, they fired me because I always come in late. Yeah, they fired me because they caught me stealing. Yeah, they fired me because, I did curse out my boss and told him what I'm not going to do today. Black women and men alike, not just the men, not just the women either, but both. And to be honest, since it's never based on your character, it's never based on your actions. 100% of the time, they all say, I was fired because I was black. It's crazy. I have a cousin that shares this same mental illness. He suffers from this same delusion. And of course, he has TDS and he looks normal enough. But every time something doesn't go his way, he accuses others of racism. Now, my cousin is the same color as Prince, the singer. He's actually more fair skinned than the average white person. But according to him, it's because of his skin color, because he perceives himself as being the same color as Amistad. That's why certain things are not working out in his favor, because everyone's a racist. So it's never about your work ethic. It's never about your character. It's not about how you talk to people, because I've even hired black people at times. That chip on their shoulder means that for one thing, the fact that you're calling yourself a color and you're not calling yourself an American or a human, that makes it so now I have to talk to you differently than I talk to the other humans around here, because you got a chip on your shoulder. So I have to treat you different. And I'll be honest, it's in a way, it's a form of mental, it's mental abuse, that I have to walk on eggshells and speak to you differently, because I'm afraid if I say the wrong thing, you're going to try to accuse me of being racist and try to sue me and ruin my business, get me fired, get a lawsuit. That's such a common occurrence in corporate America when you hire certain people, that it makes you a liability. And it's crazy to call the people that hired you in the first place racist after you got hired. But if that was the case, then why did you even ask them for a job? Why would they hire you? Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of companies during the Biden years, there was a thing called ESG, environmental social governance. One portion of that was you had to have a high DEI score, which means you had to discriminate against qualified white applicants and hire minorities and gays and bring them into your company so your ESG score would go up so you could qualify for loans. But those days are over now. I mean, why would you even want a job where they only hired you because you were black and gay? Wouldn't you want to be hired because of your skills and your merit, or because you're good at what you do? That would give you more stability. But when you took a job knowing it wasn't based on your skills, but based on your appearance, well, easy come, easy go. This guy was likely a DEI hire. And I bet you he was very unpleasant to work with every single day. I went through some of his videos. I tried to tell this to my cousin. People who you work with also go through your videos. They find you online and they see that you're a professional victim. Everything's about race. Everybody's racist. And you're really saying racist stuff against white people while accusing them of being white, of being racist yourself. And it comes back to the workplace and they're just like, you know what? Working around this person is like, I could accidentally step on a landmine and that's too risky. Now that DEI has been done away with, these companies are trimming the fat and getting rid of all these risky people, all these DEI hires. They're not a good cultural fit. Unfortunately, these black people in America, they grow up around enclaves of other black people. That means they don't know how to interact or even deal with people of other races. That's why there's so much conflict. Think about it. You went to an all-black high school because you lived in a black area. Then you went to an HBCU. The country is 60-something% white. These schools did not prepare you for the real world. In the real world, you got to know how to talk properly to other people. You got to know how to deal with other Americans. The color stuff goes out the window. But if you don't understand that, you're going to fail and people are not going to work around you. They're going to be made uncomfortable. I mean, it's just a weird coincidence that 100% of the time you have never done something wrong. Unfortunately, one thing about the culture is accountability is not one of the traits that is pushed onto the men or the women. No one believes anything that they think about it. Even watch all the body cam footage. They could have been driving drunk, ran over 5 old people, crashed into a preschool. First thing they say when they get out of the car, I didn't do nothing. It's crazy. Imagine having to work with somebody with that same attitude and how scared you are to even interact with them because you can't talk to them the way you talk to everyone else. Everyone else there has a great culture in the workplace. But when it comes to Jerome, when it comes to Daquan, you got to be a little bit, you got to be a little careful. You might offend them. People don't want to live like that. It's not fun. Shit, I had a girlfriend like that before. The most beautiful chocolate girl you've ever known in your life. And every time I would, tell her, hey, look, maybe we should break up because I would catch her lying. I would catch her, sneaking around or whatever. I'm like, look, this is over. Oh, why? Because you want to be with a white girl. Oh, you like light-skinned girl just because I'm dark-skinned. And I'm sitting here like, no, bitch, it's because of everything else. But she couldn't hear it. Her parents beat victimhood into her since she was born. Reality didn't do it. She didn't even grow up around white people. It was her own people. She's from Ohio, grew up, lived in Chicago, then moved to Arizona. Literally everything out of her mouth was literally, oh, because I'm dark. Horrible. And it's like, I just couldn't imagine because I wasn't raised in a family like that. My cousin was raised with his mother's side of the family in another part of the United States. He didn't grow up with me and my cousins on this side. So he was raised to be a victim. We were not. I didn't even know about this whole victimhood thing until I was an adult. And I still don't understand it to this day. But when it came to my ex-girlfriend, I was a hostage in the relationship because if I break up with her, the first thing she was going to say is he dumped me because he dumped me for a lighter skinned girl. Even if that wasn't the case, the girl I got with after her was even darker than her. And that destroyed her narrative she tried to paint about me. She hated it and still tried to twist it in another way. But imagine being in a relationship like that, being in a workplace in close quarters with people 8 hours a day. That's a relationship, it's a family. But could you imagine a sassy gay cousin coming to family dinner on Thanksgiving, wanting to complain about how racist the country is and how much he hates the president and he hates this and he hates that? He loves nothing, not happy with anything, hates everything. And then you think that person is going to be someone you would want to work in close quarters with for 8 hours a day? Fuck no. First chance I get, I'm actually trying to figure out how I can lay this person off too. And now that DEI is a done deal, we're not forced to put up with insufferable people. Being insufferable is it's dealing with somebody who's insufferable is torture. You dread going to work. Don't you want to be happy to go to work? Listen, it's not just me. Watch the video, watch body cam footage, watch videos of people getting laid off. If it's a person of color, the first thing they're going to say is because I'm black. Never because, yeah, we caught you stealing. We got videos of you stealing checks or digging in the safe. They can be caught doing the most craziest things. No, you're a racist, and because I'm black, you laid me off. I've honestly, going forward, if I were those employers, I wouldn't hire no one else black at all. It's too much of a risk. And if you look at it clearly, what has the last 4 years shown us? Is that diversity is a weakness.
He said, oh, it could have been anyone. Only to later find out, because it wasn't until I went downstairs thinking that me and all of my colleagues had been laid off, that I found out that it was only the people of color. So I went one by one to my white colleagues. Are you getting laid off? No. 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 So I went back up to his office.
Bro, they fired you. You're down there in the lobby harassing white employees, questioning them about their employment status. And now you're going back to the office of the person who just let you go. Why? Because you think people are afraid of you calling them racist. And that's your weapon of choice, right? What happens when your weapon runs out of bullets? Then what do you stand on? Maybe finally that word racist doesn't mean anything no more. Maybe you work on your character. Maybe you work on your attitude, because your attitude right now is screaming, sassy, and entitled. A horrible person to have to deal with, work with. This is just, I mean, I can just imagine how uncomfortable those people felt that day that he got laid off,
And I told him, I think you lied to my face. And come to find out, it was not his decision to eliminate the show that I work for. But he did get to decide who got to stay. I told him, you said that you couldn't get us relocated, only to find out that you were able to get some people relocated and they all happen to be white. Am I supposed to believe that that's a coincidence?
Just imagine, listen to how he sounds. He sounds like his mother. He sounds like a woman. And he's asking all, but you said this and this. It's like, the bottom line is you're fired. Why are you confronting me? I don't want to fight. Again, he is a sassy black man. He's LG, LMNO, whatever. And he acts like his mother, but that's the reason his father left. Again, his mother was probably also a professional victim. Every time his dad looked up, he's doing something wrong. He's this, he's that. And the man eventually just got tired and quit on her, fired his mom. The guy grows up with entitlement issues. He doesn't know how to accept rejection. He can never look within. All his problems are based on superficial qualities like his skin color or his hair texture. It's never his personality. There's never any accountability, and it's a shame. He's acting exactly like his mother.
He said, yes, I'm supposed to believe that's coincidence. I said, do you believe that's coincidence? He said, I do, because I chose to keep the people who I had worked with before. So mind you, not only is it not based on merit, it is in its result racist. I don't care if you decided to keep people who had.
That's the opposite of racist. He kept the people that he worked the best with. He kept the people who were the easiest people to come into work with, and he didn't dread seeing their face. There wasn't always something. Remember, DEI hires were literally kept in jobs that they didn't qualify for because these companies answered to a bigger company and they had ESG requirements, environmental social governance. And one piece of that is DEI. Now that that's done away with, the chains are off. These employers finally have freedom again. They can finally be happy. How is it that you guys said? These employers chose peace.
Purple colored hair. You deciding to keep people who you had worked with before, which don't even know if that's true. If the outcome of that decision is racist, the action was racist, that shit is fucked.
If you think about what he just said, there was no way that anything was never going to not be racist. No matter which direction you went, it was going to hit racist for him in his mind. And that's the problem. And that's the reason why they're insufferable, unhireable, and you really can't work with them unless somebody puts a gun to your company's head. If you have the choice, you're going to choose those who are the easiest to work with, those who are malleable, who can be shaped, who can be molded into an employee that is going to be someone that you can tolerate and see every day. Could you imagine marrying somebody who was argumentative, always a victim? You couldn't, could you? Then you think about it, they have the lowest rates for marriage out of any people in the country, I would say on earth. It's all the same. It's not like people are one way at home and then they're just better people at work. These people are pretty much the same across the board. And when you see certain problems, I always try to tell people, pattern recognition is not racist. It just means that you're not mentally ill and you can see certain dangers ahead. And as a person of any intellect, you would want to avoid potential future problems if you can. You know, yeah, you can always walk into a trap, but if you see there's a problem ahead, you can get out of the way. You can move, you can do something about it. Like I said, I have family that suffer from this and there's no fixing them at all. You love them and you can tolerate them, but no one else is going to have that same sentiment for them. So they're constantly moving around. No one can deal with them. There's always an issue. And if you ask them, the issue is 100% always racism. Do me a favor, share the video, leave me a comment. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. I just hit my 3,000 subscriber mark, so I do appreciate the support and the time you guys spend watching me and my content. That's why I make a lot of it for you. I shoot these videos all day, every day. Me and my new handy dandy microphone, we hope the quality of sound is better. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll be back on live tonight in about 30 minutes. And remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today. I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine.